Basement, level vibes with another one, straight up, blackness aye. Who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, I do it for the love, him not do it for no money. Straight up, him attack, educating everybody. Big up my friends and big up my family. Turn on the radio, catch the vibes, it's integrity. Straight up, Benskop stands for unity. One people, one nation, one destiny. Free up the truth in the air, even the blind can see. The deaf can hear, the dumb can talk, the cripple can walk. Boom. Who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, we have to gather wrong, grab a seat and sit down, pay attention. Education, liberation, we have to stand strong. Benskop upon the radio, lively up the program. Everybody call somebody and let them turn and tune and pon the radio and catch the boom song. We boom it up already, we have to boom it up again. Expose and reveal him. Who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop.
Yeah, my name is Jacinty Caldata, Francis Vietnam, and since 1965 I become a voter, and I always place my X next to the cup. And what they are doing today, I can't take it. So I have no more vote to give to PPP anymore. I'm not going to vote anymore no more. If they have to lose by one vote, they're losing it by data.
Oh, Jesus Christ, if cost of living double, I don't know what happened. A pound of sugar is $300 already. Flour, everything gone up. Everything just raising. You gotta get about $40,000 for buy good ration. You gotta get 3 man now. A weekend man, a monthly man, and a fortnight man.
Hey fans, it's karaoke and oldies night this and every Thursday at Club Twilight Sideline Dam, Buxton. Dance to the magical songs of yesteryear by popular DJs and Camps Audio. Admission is free. Come out, let's make memories at Club Twilight Sideline Dam, Buxton North.
How old are you?
I am 28, sir.
And where do you live?
In Kitty.
You own your own home?
Not as yet.
Apply for a house lot?
Not yet.
Well, sit down. You're not participating on the enhancement of your own life. At 28 years, you should be making better life decisions. Think about it.
This role as president as the Biz go ahead. So that's Dr. Ali leaving the Artichon Conference Center in the vehicle that he's been driving around with for the longest while.
So if I got children, I must suffer them to take what I don't want to eat through. So that is totally wrong.
What?
And the parents got to stand up.
Rhonda, really thank you for taking time out. I'm not going to let you go now. I know you're a very brave person. You're out there in front of GCOM. We're not seeing a lot of people out there, but give us an update on the protest every week in front of GCOM.
Tuesday we had 8 first.
Rhonda Lane, that's there for you guys, right? It's Tuesday. Today is Tuesday, right? All day today. In fact, it's going to be Tuesday until midnight. Midnight tonight. It's still Tuesday in front of GCOM. Today, they should have had, let's say, about 1,000 people out there. If the opposition, yes, I'm starting off right off the bat with the opposition. If the opposition folks are serious about these elections, if they are serious, they don't appear to be serious in my mind, in my opinion. They don't. They just don't, if you know what I mean. Thousands of people should be in front of Guyana Elections Commission's office, demanding a clean voters list, demanding biometrics, demanding transparency, demanding to hear from the Guyana Elections Commission's chairwoman, Claudette Singh. Nothing, no word, nothing, absolutely nothing. And it seems like nobody cares, right? Just a few people. Just a few people. And those few people, Rhonda Lane and a few others who are out there for months, not just go out there a couple of days, 1 to couple of weeks, take a couple of photos and they're gone their way. No, people like Rhonda Lane, a few of them are out there every single Tuesday. They're not out there for the cameras. Whether the cameras are there or not, Rhonda Lane and those few others are out there. But these guys in the opposition, they're not taking this thing seriously. They're not. And what's going to happen, right, is they're going to wait until probably one day before elections, then start make some noise. Or after elections, oh God, oh this. Now is when they're supposed to be making this thing or be aggressive towards this GCOM stuff. Because, guys, lots and lots of corruption happening there at GCOM. Lots of corruption. And the opposition is not being strong enough, aggressive enough to confront the issue. They're not doing that. Put on your glasses and y'all see. So some of y'all could fight and argue and all sort of things on a bunch of silly things on social media. But y'all are not focused on what all you're supposed to be focusing on. Y'all are not focused. Where are my glasses so I can see some of your names and so forth? They're not focused. Every day, as soon as day breaks, a war. Right, Keith Beresford? And others, good night to all of you. War. Jai Shrikant? War. As soon as sun come up, war. Morning, noon, and night. War amongst themselves. War amongst themselves. And ignoring the bigger picture. What's the bigger picture? Number one is GCOM, guys. Thank you, Brenda Braithwaite and others. Kudos to Rhonda Lane. She is a soldier in this struggle. And that is what we need. We don't need no armchair politicians, pseudo-intellectuals, and they're up on Facebook activists and all these sort of, no. That can't win elections. It might contribute towards the process, but is on the ground or constructive and aggressive approach in terms of bringing the corrupt PPP regime down, bringing them down. This thing is not every minute, blah, 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 talk off the top of your head, blah, 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 blah. It can't happen. It can't happen because there are some people feel that they blah, 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 corruption. No, it doesn't happen like that at all. Wesley Isaacs, how are you doing? Long time no see, man. Well, I got to pretend I know you guys, you know. Thank you all for sharing the link. Now, look, Rhonda Lane is on with us. Not right now, though. Rhonda Lane is on the live, and this is what Rhonda Lane is saying. 8 persons, Mark. 8 persons. 8. How 8 persons? Now, look, one can make a difference here. But if the opposition serious, man, oh, man. Oh, all of y'all in the audience, whether it doesn't matter to me who y'all support for this Congress. It's irrelevant to me. That's all. Y'all support who y'all want to support. But we've got to look at the bigger picture. What's the bigger picture? GCOM. Number one on the list, GCOM. If every one of you listening right now, every single one of you listening right now, if you're not in Guyana, and then you say to one friend, couple friends, and so forth, hey, go out next Tuesday. But mind you, I have issue with this next Tuesday nonsense. Every Tuesday. So Monday you get day off, Wednesday you get day off, Thursday you get day off, Friday you get day off, Saturday you get day off, Sunday you get day off, and then you go back Tuesday. So one day a week, only for an hour in front of GCOM. You think that's going to make those Pacus a GCOM act? No. Rhonda, talk to us.
So if I got children, I must suffer them to take what I don't want to eat for myself. That is totally wrong.
What?
And the parents got to stand up.
Rhonda, really thank you for taking time out. I'm not going to let you go now. I know you're a very brave person. You're out there in front of GCOM. We're not seeing a lot of people out there, but give us an update on the protest every week in front of GCOM.
Tuesday we had 8 persons. Sexually.
One second, Ron. According to Rhonda, 8 persons. 8 persons. That's how you guys expect to have some sort of shaking up at GCOM? Y'all get 500 persons in front of GCOM. 500 persons in front of GCOM. You're going to see what's happening. 8 persons? You know, I don't even know whether the commissioners of GCOM go out to talk to those 8 persons or not. I'm talking about the opposition appointed GCOM commissioners. Vincent Alexander and all these guys, they're quiet as a mouse. Charles Corbin, quiet as a mouse. Desmond Trotman, quiet as a mouse. These are the people y'all got to protest and call out right now, because we need answers at GCOM. And we cannot depend on Claudette Singh or anybody to give us answers right now at GCOM, because she's quiet. We don't even know, right? We don't even know whether she's alive or not. We just don't know. She's not talking. There's no press conference. There's no press release. There's absolutely nothing. And y'all sit down, especially those in the opposition who now fight for power, across down, views down, this down, that down, highs down, lick down, and all sorts of things every single day. But nobody's looking at the bigger picture. While they're cussing down each other, fighting down each other, and follow the leader, drinking the Kool-Aid and all sort of things. Guess what? There are people going on with bacchanal at the Guyana Elections Commission. It's mere bacchanal. Y'all ain't seen there's a bunch of things to distract you guys from the bigger picture. Nobody wants to be focused. Absolutely. No one wants to be focused on the big picture. It's bare cost down. Cost down. One of them tried costing me down. Poor me. Don't trouble nobody. But if you trouble me, if you pelt a brick of me, I'm going to throw back a stone at you. Story done. But that's what they believe in. Cost dunk. Cost dunk. Bring people into subjection. It's not going to happen. But the more they keep fighting and scratching up each other over silly things, who bade and who not bade, and who thing not function and all, their stupidness. That's how you're going to win elections? Cost down, dirty cost down, dirty abusing out. When GCOM, look at what's going on in GCOM. Nothing. 8 people going out at GCOM. But yet they get some of them cost down. Who biting for who give who this, all. Gosh. Dotishness, dirtiness, dirty cuss out, dirty abuse out. That is what it is. And dirty cuss out and dirty abuse out can't win no elections. Can't bring anybody, any group together. There's no unity like that. And again, go back to GCOM. And let's go back to Rhonda Lane. 8 people every single Tuesday. They should have got hundreds of people in front of GCOM every single damn day. Every single day. That is how you force the hands of these lunatics at the Guyana Elections Commission. You can't shake anything down by basically playing softball politics. You don't want protest. You don't want this. You get a strategy. You get this and the others. You don't even see them outside. You don't even see who fighting for leaders and all these. You don't see them. They got to stand up. They got to take leadership role. They got to be brave. You can't just sit down behind some pen and sit down behind some article and every time thinking that that is going to move the people. The people are looking for leaders who can be out there, who can stand up, who are brave enough to say, enough is enough. That is what the people want. Now you issue your press release and you read, oh, I want this change. Oh, I'm against this. Oh, I'm against that. No, at least not that. That's not the kind of leader that I'm looking for. Right? I'm looking for a leader who's brave enough to stand up and say, even if I have to die for my people, I am ready and prepared to die. Even if I have to be locked up for what is right, I am prepared to be locked up, and so forth and so on. You can't have people who just say in a society where a government is as corrupt as these vagabonds in the PPP, and then you say that, you're not seeing protest or nothing of that sort. Nothing. Just a little peaceful thing and you're gone back in. That is not going to shift any oppressive regime. And so back to GCOM. Sorry if I get a little bit worked up there. Right? Now back to GCOM. This is what has happened today. PNCR in meeting with Carter Center. So the PNCR guys, 5 guys, including the leader of the opposition, they met with these folks of the Carter Center. The Carter Center hop into Guyana now to find out what's going on at Guyana's Elections Commission. They probably would get more information on what's happening at the Guyana Elections Commission than those 3 appointed commissioners who are there to protect the interest of the opposition. But do we see them? Are they saying anything? And the question is, Vincent Alexander, Charles Corbin, and Desmond Trotman, whose interest are you guys representing? Can you guys tell us right now, whose interest are you guys representing? Now, the Carter Center is in Guyana. They're meeting with folks. They've met with the opposition today, the leader of the opposition, the leader of the PNCR, to discuss elections matters. Suddenly they pop in to discuss elections matters. And those in the opposition don't give a rat's you-know-what about it. The AFC is silent about it. The other paper parties within APNU, silent about it. They ain't saying nothing, hardly saying anything. Up to the other day, they had a meeting and they knock out Aubrey Norton, and Aubrey said, no, he ain't taking knockout, he's still the chairman. All over, pulling and tugging. Good night, Mr. Caesar. Pulling and tugging. Let's get your take on what's happening there at GCOM, the silence of the chairman of the Guyana Elections Commission, the silence of the 3 opposition commissioners, all of these things, and also the visit of members of the Carter Center. And let me say good night to members of the Carter Center who are in Guyana. Mr. Caesar, good night, sir. Your microphone.
Good evening to you, Mark, and good evening to all our listeners and viewers. Good night. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Well, Mark, it's nice to know that the Carter Center is down on the ground in Guyana and meeting with the opposition with regards to election and electoral matters across Guyana. But I think it would be also very, very important that this same Carter Center meets with the PPPC, because it is the PPPC who has a hold on GCOM. GCOM is no longer an independent body. Okay, they are disenfranchising the people of Guyana. Desmond Trotman, Charles Corbin, and Vincent Alexander, We have to get out of this habit, Mark, of just occupying seats with no execution. Okay, you just can't occupy a seat. There's a duty that you need to, exercise. And this just doesn't has to do, this just doesn't have to do with the PNCR as a party. It has to do with the people of Guyana. Okay. And to
And
see that
all of the people we're looking at, every single one of the people, Mr. Wayne Caesar, and for
Yes.
those who are now joining us, it's 29 minutes after 9 o'clock. We're talking GCOM, Guyana elections matter every single Tuesday. That's all. Every single Tuesday. They got to be more aggressive. It's got to be 5 days a week. The members of parliament, regardless of how they feel, regardless of who's fighting for power, regardless of whose side, who dep on whose side, who this, who that, who's scheming, who plotting, whatever allegations are, who plotting against who this, who that, they need to look at the bigger picture and join these 8 people every single Tuesday. They need to be there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
So if I got children, I must suffer them to take what I don't want to eat for myself. That is totally wrong.
What?
And the parents got to stand up.
Rhonda, I really thank you for taking time out. I'm not going to let you go now. I know you're a very brave person. You're out there in front of GCOM. We're not seeing a lot of people out there, but give us an update on the protests every week in front of GCOM.
Tuesday we had 8 persons. Essentially.
One second, Rhonda. I kind of like, honestly, I like that laugh. I'm going to rephrase. I'm going to ask the question again. And
Man, don't make me laugh, man. I tell you.
Rhonda, one second. One second, Rhonda. I'll ask you the question again. Rhonda, can you give us an update on the protest in front of GCOM?
Man, he has 8 persons at the protest.
8 persons at the protest. Every single Tuesday, just for 1 hour, and that's it. They're gone. 1 hour, and they're gone. That's about it. I don't know. I just don't know what is happening, but it is what it is. Lacey, Brett Lacey, see her there with the glasses on. She has a lot of knowledge as to what's happening there in a GCOM, and I hope Brett Lacey can talk and twist the arms of those guys at GCOM for biometrics and a clean voters list. The list is bloated. Welcome to Guyana, Brett Lacey. Welcome to Guyana. Back to Caesar.
Mark, also they can see if they can get a status also on last year's local government election that we didn't get any results for until now. I think it's over a year now.
Well, we can't sit and you see, there we go now. The guys outside of Guyana, people in Guyana gotta now beg them, oh, can you see what's going on at GCOM? We didn't get the results for the local government elections. Can please the guys at Carter Center, somebody outside of Guyana, help us? What is the opposition doing? And the opposition doesn't mean just the leader of the opposition. What is the AFC doing? Well, the WPA left the coalition. They're probably knocking to come back in. But what is it the opposition is doing as well? The guy, one of the commissioners at GCOM, Desmond Trotman, is a member of the WPA. What are these guys doing? What's the APNU doing? What's the AFC? Oh, the AFC fighting for power too. All of them fighting for power because all of them suddenly better must come. Now better must come. Mr. Caesar, you were saying something while I took total control of it.
Mark, I agree. I totally agree with what you're saying here. Everybody, every single body, it's a power grab right now. Everybody who don't want the lead of the opposition seat, wants a higher seat, and wants to move up and all these type of things. Listen, you are promoted, Mark, based on your performance, on your work performance. How many of the MPs can actually sit down and say, hey, look at my track record over the last 2 years. This is what I did. I have performed excellent across the board.
Yeah, they will tell themselves, oh, they're working. Y'all don't know how much work we're doing behind this. Give me a bunch. They get some of them who are working, but
I agree.
a bunch of them are just lazy. They are do-nothing MPs. They're not as aggressive as they should be. Now, you're telling me, Mr. Caesar, that the Guyanese people must sit down and depend on the Carter Center to tell them what happened last local government elections, that the opposition did not contest 291 seats, that the opposition automatic said them in contesting it. 291. That is not good politicking. 291, you just disregard. But outside of that, no proper results. And the PPP rigged the local government elections last year. But the opposition seemed to have forgotten about that.
Mark, that this is what happens when one party takes the electoral apparatus and takes it over completely. And everybody, both parties, are running back and forth to Washington and complaining and these type of things. So it shows that they're just not good enough to govern their own country, that they need direction. You know, they need direction on how to govern the country. The two parties are not getting along. I don't know how people can actually sit down and call Guyana democracy when the PPPC is making all the decisions themselves without consulting the opposition. It makes absolutely no sense, Mark.
Not only that,
it makes no sense.
Even at GCOM, those three guys, and I don't want to call them three stooges. I don't want to go that route, at least not yet. But they're sitting there. We're not hearing from them. Vincent Alexander is busy with all other things instead of telling us what's happening at GCOM. Tell us what's Desmond Trotman, we don't even hear from him about nothing. Charles Corbin, we don't even hear from him. When the PPP were in the opposition, which they should have been for the rest of their lives, they were busy at GCOM. You know who the three GCOM commissioners were, Mr. Caesar?
Yes, I think it was Robeson Ben, Bibi Shadiq, and Says Gunraj.
Oh, man, you know what's going on. Almost every day, give Wayne Caesar A+ for that. Robeson Ben, the late Bibi Shadiq, and Says Gunraj. Almost every day, these people were calling press conferences. They were asking questions. They were demanding stuff. They were making things public. But these three opposition guys, look, tonight in this audience, who get vexed, let it get vexed. Story done. Who get vexed, let it get vexed. Y'all could suck up y'all teeth. Y'all could cuss me out. Y'all could do whatever. Y'all could whatever. It doesn't bother me. But it's time that we call the three individuals there at GCOM, the commissioners, who are supposed to be looking after the interest, our interest, so to speak. We don't hear nothing from them. Not a hawk to, sorry, I shouldn't be saying that, but nothing, absolutely nothing from them. Absolutely nothing, not a word. It's like these guys in a coma, they're sleeping. When they're going to wake up? Y'all got to wake these guys up. So those 8 persons every Tuesday who are protesting in front of GCOM, y'all need to protest and call Vincent Alexander out, call Desmond Trotman out, and call Charles Corbin out. Mr. Caesar.
Yeah. Not just Desmond Trotman, Vincent Alexander. And to Mr. Alexander's defense, I will give him a very, very minor pass on this, because right now he's concentrating on the PNCR biannual Congress. But listen, there was a lot of time before that these issues at GCOM should have been addressed. Okay? But Desmond Trotman and Charles Corbin, you guys need to come into the hot seat a bit and face the fire, face the media. Tell us what's going on at GCOM. Do some research. Do some more inquiries as to why we're not seeing the GCOM chairman. You know, look into these things. Look into why we're not addressing a new voters list, you know, and what's the probability of us having biometrics in the next elections. These are the type of things that these guys need to be looking into, Mark. Mark, you just cannot occupy a seat and collect a check or whatever it is that you're getting. You're wasting time. Someone else can be sitting in that seat. We need to see progress in Guyana. And in order for us to see progress in Guyana, everybody needs to do their part and execute their duties.
And in fact, they're being paid handsomely, but they're not talking. They're not saying anything. They're just like Claudette Singh. Claudette Singh hasn't been saying anything for a while. Not for a while. Sherwin Benjamin, they don't come on the show. They run and they hide. Maybe we should have Sherwin come on the show to get his view. But they don't come on any show. The only one that has been speaking out occasionally, you know, is Vincent Alexander. The only time. Outside of that, there's nothing else. Y'all tell Marla Alicock good night because she says she gone and sleep. Good night. I don't know what else she wants to hear. Right? But good night to you, Marla Alicock. Good night to you. Yeah. So, hey, GCOM got to do better and y'all got to demand better. Now, let's talk about the cash grant. We're moving away from a GCOM now. We're talking about the cash grant. Did you collect your cash grant? Anybody collect cash grant for you, Mr. Caesar? They sent any photographs? Because what Priya Manikchan and them doing, they're going around and they're taking out photographs of the single moms and so forth with these women, a particular ethnic group, and blasting their photographs on social media with the little pittances that they collect as cash grant. Is a big favor they're doing the people of Guyana. What is your take on the cash grant, sir?
You want my take on the cash grant, Mark? First of all, it's pittance that the people are receiving. That's number one. And secondly, it is lawless in nature, the way this cash grant is being distributed, Mark. There is no way that you should be issuing cash and walking around with that amount of cash serving out to people. Every Guyanese, every single, especially now that Guyana is an oil-producing nation, every Guyanese should have electronic banking, okay, where the government is able to wire these cash grants to people. People come in, verify their identification.
They don't believe in that. For 23 years, they ripped the country apart technologically. We should have been way advanced. They don't build these are a bunch of bandits who are in office. So don't expect these bandits to do anything better. You know what is good for them? You know how they get satisfaction? Apart from, the cathedral with some of them. You know how they get satisfaction is basically to put photographs of ordinary working class people up there. Put their moms up there with couple thousand Guyana dollars in their hand. Come take a picture with Priya Manikchan, and that is what they call governance, to embarrass the people. Now, if you have something like that, cash grant, you give people X amount and then you starve them for the rest of the year, no transportation, no proper breakfast, no proper anything. Unlike what the coalition was doing, which was a better approach towards this system here. Shame on Priya Manikchan. Shame on the PPP regime. Shame on Irfan Ali. Shame on that one that comes on with his Mickey Mouse show on Thursday named Bharat Jack there. But before you take over...
Well, Mark, I wanted to touch...
Let's take them to this here, please.
How old are you? I am 28, sir.
And where do you live?
In Kitty.
You own your own home?
Not as yet.
Apply for a house lot?
Not yet.
Well, sit down. You're not participating on the enhancement of your own life. At 28 years, you should be making better life decisions. Think about it. Thank you. Bye.
Such an embarrassment, such a disgrace as someone who sits there in the office of the president. Shame on Irfan Ali, a vagabond who only got rich when he got into office as a minister of housing, big land and all manner of things. And yet he's insulting that young man who grew up for the most part of his life under the corrupt PVP regime. Mr. Caesar.
Well, Mark, listen, if that young man has 2 shirts and 2 pants, he can proudly stand up and say, hey, this is what I have. It belongs to me. I work for it. I earned it honestly. Okay? Irfan Ali cannot say the same for himself. Okay? The PPPC is a very corrupt and selfish government. Okay? That has no vision for Guyana. That's why that young man does not have a house lot of his own. And keeping in mind that it's the PPPC that would have made the decision back when, can't remember the exact year, but you had to have a family before you could have gotten a house lot. Okay? So when you look at, that young man is not participating in enhancing his life, how dare you say something like that when you guys have put so much limitations on young people in Guyana? No free university, no kind of advanced learning after C6 unless you have money. Right? Everything the PPPC mark is, everything for them is geared around money. Well, all Guyanese are not rich like you guys. Okay? It's a very small percentage of Guyanese that can go and do the high rolling jobs with the PPPC. Okay? Most Guyanese are poor, Mark. As statistics show, over 60% of our children is dealing with some measure of food poverty. Okay? So this government is this installed government is a complete failure and has been a complete failure to the Guyanese people. So Irfan Ali has no right to tell that young man to sit down. You're dismissed. No, Irfan Ali. No, you're an embarrassment. Okay? You're an embarrassment.
Absolutely.
Don't tell young Shervin that he's an embarrassment. No.
Yeah.
No, what this young
Absolutely.
man, Mark, this question that this young man would have asked, it just opened up the book and show all young Guyanese, okay, what they have in store for them if they
nothing, absolutely nothing in store under this PPP regime. We have seen that for 23 years. They offered young people nothing. Young people weren't able to breathe at all. But we saw for the 5 years that the coalition was in office, young people and all Guyanese were able to breathe again. We're hoping that those folks in the opposition will get their act together and will snatch the elections, next elections time, snatch the government back into their hands, and this time hold on to it forever and ever, or for as long as possible. Just getting some word as to these individuals here who are permanent secretaries. All of them are on the radar. All of them are on radars of U.S. law enforcement agencies. All of them are on the radars of U.S. law enforcement agencies. For what? I don't know. And please don't ask me to say because I don't know, but they are on the radars of U.S. law enforcement agencies. You know, one of them there, May Toussaint Jr., Thomas, May Toussaint, Mara Box. We know she was on the radar. We know that she has had her visas revoked. We know that she has been sanctioned. We are not sure whether she is going to be indicted by any of those law enforcement agencies, but we'll have to watch the ride, so to speak, as to what will come out from the U.S. in the next couple of weeks. But I don't know what happened to, I don't but we haven't seen or heard anything from this senior policeman, Caesar. His name is Caesar. Over to you, Mr. Wayne Caesar. A relative of yours? If so, if not, tell us what might be happening with this guy here, sir. We're not hearing from him.
Well, Mark, they may be looking deeper into him, and his actions. There is a chance. Listen, when these sanctions, Mark, were issued, okay, in looking at it, my analysis tells me that this is just the tip of the iceberg. There is much more to come. So I think that everyone should be on the lookout. All the PPPC ministers, the entire PPPC cabinet, all right, should be very intense at the moment. Because just handing out a sanction against May Thomas, Mark, doesn't suffice the Guyanese people if based on what they were, based on what they have been going through over the last 23 years and the corruption, the depth of the corruption across Guyana. It's not fair to the people. There are some massive fishes to be pulled from the sea, and we want to see that happen. If
Absolutely.
that core mark, then this is not a fair situation. It needs to be fair.
All right.
Yes, May Thomas, I agree with that, but there are people who are in way deeper corruption than May Thomas.
49 minutes, heading on 50 minutes after 9 o'clock. If you're now joining us, my name is Mark Benchap, and welcome to Straight Up. With me tonight is Wayne Caesar, the host of Over to You every Saturday at 7 p.m. right here on 107.1 FM. Bantu King, Beatrice Selby, and all of you. Good night to you. We are looking at some of the comments. Rhonda Lane, again, how are you? And who else it is that we can see? Let's see here. Francine Cruz is asking whether Caesar, the policeman who was pulled in for fitness by U.S. law enforcement agencies, is related to Wayne Caesar. I don't know, Francine Cruz. Why are you demanding that Wayne Caesar should answer that? Francine is something else.
And rightfully, and Mark, and rightfully so. I give Miss Cruz 3 stars to that, and I'm going to answer the question. There's no way that he could have been related to me and doing what he's doing to people, Mark. No way, not a chance.
Allegedly.
Not a chance.
Allegedly, yeah, allegedly. So now let's look at this here. Let's look at this here. 15,000. This guy likes stuff with three knots in it, and he likes stuff with 5 in it. So now this Paku, Irfan Ali, is saying to people, 15,000 house lots to be developed. 15,000. And again, here is it, he go by 2025. Every single thing that they promise is they're saying by 2025. By 2025, they will address legalization of small amounts of marijuana. By 2025, they will address the issue of reinstating free tuition at the university level, something they took away from the Guyanese people. And now we're hearing in 2025, 15,000, or by 2025, in Region 3, 15,000 house lots will be developed according to Irfan. But he's not telling you guys that his friends, his family, and cronies in Region 3 who are running Region 3 right now will be the beneficiaries of this and not the ordinary people. Your take on this? 15,000 house lots to be developed.
And Mark, I glad you point out the fact that he likes the 3 zeros and he liked the 5s, because I remember the 50,000 jobs that were promised when you said that. That's the first thing that came to mind for me. But listen, with the PPPC, we all know promises. But what Guyanese need to do, Mark, the PPPC can promise how much they want. What the Guyanese people needs to look at, number one, the fact that we are now an oil producing nation. That's the number one thing they have to look at. Number two, Mark, they got to look at their pockets. Has anything been done regards to wages? Because, Mark, you can create 15,000 house lots, Mark, but can the Guyanese people afford it? That is the question. That is the mind-boggling question. You can do whatever you want to do, Mark, but can the people afford it? Because, listen, inflation and cost of living has gone through the roof. Where is the change in wages? Where is the change in wages, Mark? People cannot do anything without money. So Irfan Ali and his government needs to go back to their seat and revise that. That is utter nonsense, Mark. That you could promise all you want to promise. It makes no sense. If the normal, everyday, born and bred Guyanese cannot afford it, it makes absolutely no sense. Period.
Makes absolutely no sense. 54 minutes at 9 o'clock. Wayne Caesar with us. 15,000 house lots. This is a fraud. It's a fraud. And I noticed that Lyndon Elliott, good night to you, Mr. Elliott. Lyndon Elliott has brought up a good point. Demographic change. So in other words, areas where they need votes, they're going to take a 5,000, they're going to take a 2,000 from places and so forth and fill up some areas. They are going to do the same in Linden. Meanwhile, I repeat, the opposition sleeping on these issues. Who is the shadow minister of housing? Annette Ferguson. When was the last time we heard anything about housing and challenging the PPP and all of these things? No, because they're busy with other things. They're not concerned in areas that they need to be concerned with. They're just not doing that. The shadow ministers need to be telling us what is happening to the country and what the PPP is doing. But we're not hearing from these people. I'm not picking on Annette. It's just so I mentioned her name because it's housing. We should have been able to get a report back from the Shadow Minister of Housing, Annette Ferguson, on this 15 house lots that this guy, Irfan Ali, is talking about. This is what Annette Ferguson should have issued a press release talking about this issue, either on her Facebook page or via a press release or message and say, hey, I want to come on straight up. The other person that should be talking about this, but isn't talking about it, the Shadow Minister of Local Government, who is right over there in Region 3, Ganesh Mahipal. So we're not hearing much from these shadow guys. These guys who are shadows, shadow ministers, are only in the shadow. God in heaven knows what some of them are doing in the shadow. But when you talk, their bumps raise. I see you getting ready to chat something. Go ahead, Mr.
Yes, Mark.
Caesar.
Mark, well, listen, I'm going to say this. When there is the amount, I'm going to say this, the amount of fighting that is going on in the party itself, okay, is stymieing the process of these MPs going out there and actually executing their duties as shadow ministers. It's just too much that is going on internally, Mark. Everybody is internal right now. Nobody's operating externally. Not a single person is.
One second, please. Even before this so-called big fighting, as you would say, a lot of them were quiet. They weren't doing anything. They were more busy with their own jobs. Some of them got a different job, and they feel that the member of parliament position is just a little small something, and they don't get paid enough. If you don't get paid enough, write to the leader of the list, write to Mr. Granger right now, or say to the leader of the opposition, man, I can't make it, man. I bluff my way for all them years in parliament. Me bluff my way, man. Me bluff my way. I'll remove me now. You know, some hardcore decisions have to be made because we cannot have MPs who's sleeping on the job. You can't work on the job and sleep. Lemon fell asleep 2 weeks on the job, 2 days. Every week he fell asleep on the job. And guess what we did here at 107.1? We fired him. He begged to change and he returned. MPs got to be fired. And even if you're running a government, ministers have to be fired as well. In a democracy, it works. It's healthy. Get rid of those who don't work, those who are lazy. Let them go. Those who sit down and swell up their mouth, pack up their mouth, them and this, them. Go long, man. And this is across the board. I don't care who they are whether they're pro Aubrey, pro whoever. It doesn't matter. If you don't walk, go along your way. Go along your way. Story done. Time for action, man. Too much laziness and too much I-pass across the board. I-pass to any leadership. Not just that, I-pass to the Guyanese people, the 218 plus thousand people who voted for the opposition and are demanding and deserve better treatment from those who are supposed to be electing them. This is not where somebody crying and get vexed because them in going parliament only because they want to make a pension. What is it? It becomes a welfare system where that you only fighting for going parliament because you want pension. No, shame on those who are thinking like that. Man, I'm vexed. Over to you. Over to
All right,
you.
Mark, I'm looking at a comment here by Barbara Barrington. And to Miss Barrington, a pleasant good evening to you, Mr. Caesar. Nope, I don't agree with you. Well, Miss Barrington, I respectfully ask you to tell
What
that
she doesn't
to the
agree with you
300.
on?
No. She doesn't agree with me saying that the amount of infighting that is currently going on in the party, everybody's currently fighting against each other for power, whether it's leader of the opposition or what position they're fighting for. But Mark, I want to say this. That leader of the opposition seat, guys, it's a hot seat. And if you want to go in that hot seat, you got to have thick skin. Because, Mark, I'm going to say this tonight. To the
You don't have to have thick
extent,
skin. You
to the
gotta work.
extent,
You
Mark,
gotta have a vision.
Mark, to the extent there is a change in government, which I expect in 2025, nobody's going there and sit down. The Guyanese people has waited long enough. They need to be served. They do not elect people, Mark, to go into government to get rich. They elect people to go into government and manage their affairs and manage the affairs of Guyana. I want to make that clear. I'm not going to come on this program and not call people out. I am not biased.
People, that's okay. People should understand that they get into office, they are servants of the people. It's not the other way around. They have to work for the people. The people are the employers. So those members of parliament, whether they're government side or opposition side, they work for the people. That's who they work for. Some people just don't. Guyana, Ileana say, why is Granger holding on to the list? Granger is not holding on to the list. It's a constitutional position, and whereas the leader of the list has to hold on. You can't transfer it and give it to somebody. Hey, you take over just like that. And y'all got to understand, look how many times we went through this thing here about the leader of the list, why is Granger holding on to the leader of the list? Why is Granger holding on to the leader of the list? I don't know. With all the infighting, all the fighting that's going on, I don't know, man. I'm just fed up. I just need to go and drink a nice cup of coffee and do some reading. Mr. Caesar, I'm ready to go. Your brief remark in just about a minute. Go ahead. We've got to go.
You're giving me a minute.
Go ahead, sir.
You don't know if you're giving me a minute.
You came prepared. But No. A minute, because when I'm on your show, you don't allow me to talk. So go ahead.
I want to say this before my closing remarks, Mark. Those MPs ought to be lucky that David Granger is still the owner of that list. The MPs ought to be lucky that David Granger is still the owner of that list, because many would not be sitting in Parliament today because of lack of execution of their duties. Now, Mark, what I'm going to say in my closing remarks, seeing that you touched so much on GCOM. And I have to say many thanks to Miss Rhonda Lane for what she continues to do, and the people who diligently shows up every day with Miss Lane and put up their little placards, 8, 9, 10, 13, whatever. It may seem to be nothing today, Mark, but trust me, more has to be done with regards of holding GCOM accountable. The MPs that are fighting internally, they need to come out. They need to bring out people from their constituency, and they need to stand up out there on Tuesdays. Okay, they need to stand up out there on Tuesdays. They need their voices to be heard. And Mark, I agree with you. It cannot just be one day. You need to make the life of the GCOM, the entire staff. I am not going to just say Claudette Singh, the entire staff, everybody. Because as far as I'm concerned, everybody's culpable. Nobody's coming out and say anything. They are all responsible for what's happening to the Guyanese people. And Mark, if I was somebody in charge, I would have fired every single one and replaced them. Everybody. everybody, because they're disingenuous when it comes to the Guyanese people. What they're doing is wrong. GCOM needs to be more transparent. It's an independent body. So many times I would have heard Barra Jagdeo come on his press conference and speaking on behalf of the Guyana Elections Commission, which is very wrong. Claudette Singh, you ought to be ashamed of yourself for not coming forward and addressing the nation since last year's local government election. Before that, no one can see you. Everybody's hearing that you're ill or whatever the case is. Like I said earlier on the program, Mark, people do not just need to sit in seats. Okay? You cannot execute the duties, leave the seat to someone else. This goes to the MPs right across the board. And Mark, when I say this, I also mean the MPs of the PPPC also. They have no backbone. They are a disgrace to Guyana. They are worse than the MPs on the opposition side. Their mouths are sealed. Okay? Their mouths are sealed. All of them need to be investigated. Every single one of them. They all need to be audited, Mark. And we need to put laws in place in Guyana where parliamentarians are audited every 2 years and should report all their assets. And failure to do so should result in massive fines and possible expulsion. We have to get serious in Guyana, Mark, and we have to start setting higher standards. The bar needs to move up. It is too low. It is too lawless what is happening in Guyana. I want to thank everyone. Mark, thank you for having me tonight. I'm sorry if I sound overly passionate, but I'm just upset when I see what's happening to our brothers and sisters in Guyana. It is wrong, and it needs to be corrected.
Thank you. The people have to make that decision come elections time. Thank you so much, Mr. Caesar. And I noticed somebody, Tony Hack, using somebody that don't mention somebody's name because somebody's my friend. I don't know who it is that Tony Hack is. I didn't see the comment or anything, but I suspect that somebody might be abusing Granger. Yeah, better watch out. You don't know how politics is these days. People talking about a consensus candidate, you never know. Suppose now Granger turns out to be that consensus candidate. You never know. All right, I'm out of here. Mr. Caesar, thank you so much for your time, and all of you guys, every single one of you, thank you. Regardless of your views, yep, at least we have been respectful. All of us here on the letters, on in the audience there. Thank you so much. I know some of you are well behaved. Some of you really want to lash out, but we appreciate it. And again, Mr. Caesar, thank you. Thank you so much. God bless.
You're welcome, Mark. Anytime. Good night, everyone.
See you tomorrow, same place, same time, right here on 107.1 FM. Somebody's asking which Granger. David Otter Granger. Don't be surprised if he might turn out to be the consensus candidate. You never know. Don't be surprised. Watch Pashwe tomorrow morning. It's be a war tomorrow morning when they hear what's going on. Oh, another plot. Oh, another. Y'all gonna understand politics. Some of y'all. Y'all gonna understand politics. Y'all gonna understand. It's not about emotions. It's not about emotions, Miss Elias. Sorry. It's not about emotions, Miss Booker. It's not about emotions. It's not about emotions. Some of y'all bombs raise. It's politics. Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised. You never know. I know some of y'all going to sleep. Y'all ain't sleeping tonight. Right? David Granger back as a consensus candidate. Put a beating on the PPP. Now, before I go, let me say this to you guys. If you're going to message me, do not message me at 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. Do not call me at 3 o'clock in the morning to talk politics. It is disrespectful. And hopefully that individual is watching and would get that message. It is highly disrespectful. Do not do that. You do not call somebody at 3 o'clock in the morning to talk politics. I don't know what's going to some people's heads sometimes. But I'm out of here. God bless you. See you guys tomorrow, same place, same time. So long. And to some of those people who are talking about PNC and rigged elections, who could rig elections more than the PPP? They rig elections so much that all of them get confused. So long.
He said valid votes count. Votes cast must, more votes cast must mean valid votes. Sorry. And he said valid votes count. Votes cast must, more votes cast must mean valid votes. Sorry. And he said valid votes count. Votes cast must, more votes cast must mean valid votes. Sorry. And he said valid votes count. Votes cast must, more votes cast. He said valid votes count. Votes cast must, more votes cast must mean valid votes. Sorry. And
how old are you?
I am 28, sir.
And where do you live?
In Kitty.
You own your own home?
Not as yet.
Apply for a house lot?
Not yet.
Well, sit down. You're not participating on the enhancement of your own life.
said valid votes count. Votes cast must, more votes cast must mean. He said valid votes count. Votes cast must, more votes cast must mean this role as president as the days go ahead. So that's Dr. Ali leaving the Artichoke Conference Center in the vehicle that he's been driving around with for the longest while. A presidential vehicle did come here, but Dr. Ali is not using that vehicle. He's moving off with the vehicle that he has been in. He said valid votes count. Votes cast must, more votes cast must mean valid votes. Sorry. And
yeah, my name is Jasnity Kaldata Francis Vietnam, and since 1965 I become a voter, and I always place my X next to the cup. And what they are doing today, I can't take it. So I have no more vote to give to PPP anymore. I'm not going to vote anymore no more. If they have to lose by one vote, they're losing it by data. I have none.
Oh, Jesus Christ, if cost of living double, I don't know what happened. A pound of sugar is $300 already. Flour, everything gone up. Everything just raising. You gotta get about $40,000 for buy good ration. You gotta get 3 man now. A weekend man, a monthly man, and a fortnight man.
How we gonna do a body man walk right now? You ready? Boxer, let me go now. Hear me sing now. Body walk, body walk, body walk, everything. Body walk, truck, body walk, body walk, body walk, everything. Body, listen. Body jump, body jump, body jump, everything. Body jump, body jump, body jump, body jump, everything. Hear me sing, so big body can't wear it tight pants, big body jump.